define the goal to build from scratch an autonomous B-roll sourcing pipeline that takes one YouTube URL and produces a watchable rough cut MP4. So this is so that we can build the infrastructure for it so that later we can go ahead and add the transcript. So I'm just going to tell it to replicate the original video over here, which is by Elias Yoder. And then it's going to use a couple of these different tools, right? So we're going to want to set this up the right way. It's going to ask for your Brave Search API key, Pixabay API key, Anthropic API key, your OpenRouter API key. And then it's going to ask for all of these other different architectures that it's going to build, which you don't necessarily have to understand, right? But you can see it's going to take the transcript. It's going to start planning, right? What are the different beats and what are the different images that it wants to source? And then per single beat, it's going to go ahead and source many images and then rate those images out of 10 to decide, hey, is this image actually fitting for the video before finally choosing that image? And then you can see it has a selection loop and then it downloads it. And then I have certain hard rules like, hey, don't reuse certain images, right, inside of the video multiple times. And then it's going to render the entire video, right? I'm not going to sit here and go through this entire prompt because that's going to take a while. So, but you can take this entire prompt, basically copy paste it into Claude, start a new chat over here, and then it will go ahead and ask you for all of the different things that it requires based on this prompt. So a couple of the things that it's going to ask you for is the Pixabay API key, which you can go ahead onto Pixabay, and then over here, we're just going to blur this out. This is my own API key. If you go to pixabay.com/API/docs, right, you can get your API key over here once you log in. And then as for the Brave Search API, literally you just have to sign up for an account, just log into an account, and then it will be able to give you an API key that way at brave.com/search/API. And then it's also going to ask you to install other stuff like Python and YTDLP. And then Claude Fable is going to ask you a ton of questions, and you just have to follow the process in order to download everything onto your computer. And with that, you have the infrastructure set up. Now, I told it to create a rough cut of the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So we're going to watch this for a little bit to see what the output is like.
It is the middle of August. The kitchen window is open to let the cooling evening breeze move through the house. Esther has set a bowl of summer peaches on the counter to ripen for the morning's preserves. And by sunrise, the kitchen is full of them. Fruit flies, dozens of them, small, dark, hovering in slow, lazy circles around the fruit bowl, around the sink drain, around the open jar of jam on the breakfast table. You wave them away, and they come back. You cover the fruit, and they find the next thing. And the day after that, there are twice as many of them as there were yesterday. By the time you walk out to the back porch with your coffee.
So there you go. That's just a quick demo of exactly how you can build something like this. So if you don't want to spend all this time building a tool like this and you're like, hey, Brian, help me automate this, you can click the link in the description. I'm developing a tool that does exactly this. This was created with a single prompt. This is something that I've been building over the past couple months in order to bring you these AI avatar videos so you can create videos exactly like Elias Yoder and for many, many more niches. So you can click the link in the description for that. So now the last step in all of this is actually refinement of your infrastructure. So now the very first prompt that I gave you will give you a video like I just showed you, but it's not going to be the best output in the world and you're going to want to spend some time refining it. So the process for refinement is as follows. You start with the plan and then you ask questions in order to refine the plan. When you are executing tasks on Claude Code, it falls into two different categories. Number one is either planning and number two is executing. The planning is basically telling Claude Fable, hey, this is exactly what I want to build before it goes out and builds it. And when it goes out and builds it, it's called executing the code. So when you are in the planning stage, you want to spend most, if not all of your time here, because that way Claude Fable will have many more tasks in order to execute. So that's why when you are in your planning stage, you don't just want to one prompt the planning stage. You want to plan and then ask questions to refine the plan, and then refine the plan and refine the plan until you are 95% sure that Claude Fable knows exactly what to build, right? Because Claude Fable consumes so many tokens, you want to spend most of your tokens in the planning stage so that it doesn't burn all of it when you have to go through multiple rounds of execution. And then once you are ready to execute, you want to execute the task And then not only do that, you want to test the output. So you want it to run smoke tests, which are these like 30 seconds to 1 minute clips that it goes ahead and generates. And then you also want it to run an autonomous self-improving loop so that it can generate these different smoke tests, these different 30 seconds to 1 minute videos, watch the videos, and then improve what the base prompts and the base coding is. And typically in the planning stage, when I use Claude Fable, you want to spend at least an hour on the planning stage. And then on the execution stage, you can basically leave your computer and then just let it run autonomously. So you can see over here in one of my conversations, right now what I want you to do is to create 3 different separate smoke tests. So that means I just wanted to test it, generate different parts of the transcripts, help search the image and videos within the current architecture, generate smoke tests, and then use a tool like Gemini Flash in order to analyze the video, right? And then in terms of the smoke test, I want you to rebuild the architecture, and then I want you to have this as an autonomous self-improving loop, right? This is a misspelling over here, but it understands because I tell it so many times. So to put your entire video together, you just have to take your HeyGen video that you've been generated with your InWorld or 11 Labs voice, put that either into CapCut or into Claude Code, and then take the visuals and render all of them together, which can be done with Claude Fable. And you should get an output similar to this. And just like that, that's how you can start an AI avatar faceless channel. But wait, there's one part of the process that I didn't show you that is so crucial that if you skip it, your AI avatar won't look or sound realistic. That's why I made this video over here, which is a full walkthrough on me starting an AI avatar channel, from writing the script, designing the branding, and then putting the overall video together. Click this video over here to watch it, and I'll see you in the next one.